Good day everyone, so I'm here with the Widsith. I finally refined it to level 90 and we're going to be discussing it very briefly on Yae Miko, and this will obviously be sort of the end of my F2P Yae Miko sort of series. Of course I've got Yae Miko on my alt account, so we'll continue the F2P Yae Miko on that account, but on this account this will be like the final video before I completely go C6 or 5 on this character. So let's talk about this weapon. The big thing, and I've been playing around with this, that sort of bothers me about this weapon, um, it's it's very inconsistent, and the problem is you don't have the uptime that you have with Kagura's Verity. So a lot of you might know that when we did like a couple of videos ago on Masanori, our sort of Kagura's Verity did about 9,000 given our build, and I haven't changed anything. I haven't really touched any of the artifacts. The build's mostly the same. Obviously with the Widsith our attack and crit damage is going to be a bit lower, but we more or less have like the same stats and builds like we had last time. And you can see here, like just as a base, we're doing about 5,000 damage. So this is without any of the buffs, and I'm just going to quickly swap off, and I just quickly wait for these totems to expire. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to Yae Miko. Now you can see there we've got a random song. So let's just see what type of damage we're doing. 8,686. So this is not an EM buff or attack buff. So this is probably the, the electro damage buff, or the elemental bonus buff. So it's this one. And this is just, oh, well, there's my Yae Miko gone. Let's just quickly bring her back. My bad. And thank you, Kokumi. So basically like 9,000 versus 8,600, so it's not too bad. Let's just see if we can get like a different buff as well. Let's just wait. No, nothing triggered, so let's just wait a bit more. But the problem that I've got with it is like with Kagura's Verity, you almost like never have like downtime on its elemental skill, whereas with this weapon you have like 8,000, 8,000, and then suddenly you're like back to 5,000. Okay, so we got like a different buff, and we're doing 8,613, which is an attack buff. Okay, so that's not too bad. So either the all elemental buff or like the attack buff is giving us some good results. Hopefully the next buff we can get is like an EM buff, and we can like see what's going to happen. But yeah, from a consistency perspective, obviously her signature weapon is better, and I think MiHoYo knew exactly what they were doing. But I think the best alternative, if you don't have Kagura's Verity, is the Widsith. I think this is a pretty good weapon. Just do be careful and do note you are losing out on, I'd say, about 30,000-ish damage, like if you like add up all the differences in total. So yeah, that's just sort of how this weapon would lag. The Oathsworn, I feel this is more like for players that don't have like lots of energy substats, and you want to sort of make up for that gap. So you've got lots of crit rate, crit damage, but you're really lacking in energy. So you're like settled on crit rate and crit damage, and then perhaps like this weapon could be a good substitute. I'm not going to test it. I think other people have covered it in much better detail. But yeah, I'm just more interested in this weapon, the sort of Widsith, because it is sort of like the sort of counterpart to Kagura's Verity. So let's just see if we can get like another little song. Alright, so now we got the Elemental Mastery, and let's just see what that does. So yeah, that does quite a bit less, and you can just sort of confirm it here. That's quite a bit like EM boost, and obviously this will go through her like passive talent. But as you can see here, the electro damage bonus and the attack buffs are just like, it's just a bit more. And there you can see, this is what I'm talking about consistency. So like for almost like 60% of your duration, you're not really getting the buff on the Widsith. So it is kind of inconsistent. But just in general, attack elemental damage buff gives you the highest. Well, I think it might be build dependent in a certain sense, but just from my numbers alone, elemental damage gives you the most, attack the second most, and elemental mastery is going to give you the least. But it is a weapon. I think what's cool about the Widsith is I think Yae Miko is one of the few characters in which it actually gives you like a consistent output in terms of whichever sort of like song you get. In other words, your damage is not going to be that different. I think Yae Miko does like work with all of them, but you might be unlucky and lose out on a bit of damage if you do get the elemental mastery. And I think this is also a sort of good showcase to sort of give you like a perspective on what, like, I think it's like a 60 percentage like damage bonus on her E can do via her passive talent. And it's not that impressive, but yeah, it's fairly okay. And yeah, that's what I sort of wanted to test, guys. Yeah, so from now on we are going to activate constellations. We'll have C6 R5 Yae up, so please look forward to that. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. And if you've got any questions, let me know. I think I've done like enough testing to sort of have like my own conclusions with regards to this weapon and Yae. Cheers.